Hello art friends, let's talk today about the 20 ways that you can earn money as an artist and you can live your dream making money from your art and your art skills. And the great news is that for most of these things we'll talk about today, you do not need to have an art degree. Things are rapidly changing in the art world, and I have some new information that you're going to need. Be sure to stay all the way through today's discussion because I'm giving you some information today that you're not going to want to miss. And in no particular order, let's start out first with Instagram. So how you sell your art on Instagram is super duper easy. What you'll do is you'll post images of your artwork, whether that's sculpture, painting, prints, whatever it is, merchandise, and then people will DM you or send you a direct message, then direct message back with them and negotiate on a price, and then have them go to, for example, PayPal. I recommend PayPal. Don't use Venmo because PayPal will have more protection in place, but have them go to PayPal and then pay the price, and then you would ship whatever it is, the item to them, the art item. You would send that to them. You can do art commissions that way, or you can sell artwork that you've already created. Now, I don't personally sell directly to the public like this because the art galleries that represent me would drop me if I would do that. So if you're not represented by an art gallery at this time, you absolutely be doing direct sales through Instagram and the other methods that we'll talk about today. So I have a friend from France, and she sells her work full-time. This is what she does full-time as an artist, is she makes work and sells it on Instagram. Now, it's super lucrative for her. This is not a method that works for everybody, but if you are not represented by an art gallery at this time, I would recommend you give this a try. So the pros are you have complete control over the artwork that you're selling and how it's sold and how it looks and all of that, and you get to keep all of the money. There's no commission that you owe to Instagram. The cons are that there could be scammers. The other thing is that you're going to have to do the marketing of this, the shipping, collect payment, and do all of that. You'll have to take care of all of that yourself if you sell directly through Instagram. All right, so method number 2 is selling on Etsy. Etsy is another great way to make money as an artist, especially if you are just starting out. So go to Etsy.com, and they make it very easy to set up your store and to start making sales. And then you decide what it is that you're going to be selling, whether it's paintings or sculptures or prints or merchandise, stickers, you name it. And then when someone comes to your shop, your Etsy shop, and buys something, then you will ship it to them. Etsy takes a small commission on every sale that you make, so you will need to be sure to factor that into your price. And how much Etsy charges for each of the sales depends on how many store upgrades you include in the store. So when you set it up, you'll be able to choose how many upgrades you want, and based on that, then Etsy will determine how much percentage they'll take from each sale. So unlike a direct sale where you're selling to somebody that you have met or you know, a stranger will be buying your artwork. And I remember the first time back in the year 2000 when I had heard that a stranger bought my work from an art gallery, and it was such an amazing feeling. And so that first sale that you make is very special, whether it's Etsy or Instagram or really any other of the other ways that we'll talk about today. But that first one, you'll never forget your first sale. It's really a special moment. The pro of selling on Etsy is that they have very low commissions. It's usually in the 6 to 15% range, depending on the options that you'll choose for your store. A con of Etsy is that you're going to have to do all of the marketing yourself to draw people into your Etsy store, and that can be a bit of a challenge. Now on to method number 3. To sell your art is a brick-and-mortar art gallery. So I'm a professional artist, and I've been selling my artwork through brick-and-mortar art galleries all across the United States. I started in the year 2000 and have been selling that way ever since. So the first question you might have is, what is a brick-and-mortar gallery and how is it different than an online-only gallery? So a brick-and-mortar gallery just means that it's in a physical building. Doesn't have to be brick. It's just a building. An art gallery where people will come in, clients will come in, and your work will be on display. It'll be beautifully displayed, beautifully lit, and there will be a sales staff, professional sales staff, that sells your artwork to the customers and clients coming in. They'll take care of the sales transactions. They'll take care of shipping. They do all of the marketing for you. They'll talk about your background, your inspirations, what motivates you. And it's just an absolutely beautiful venue, a beautiful way to have your artwork displayed. And brick-and-mortar galleries almost always have an online presence. So clients can buy your work either in person or they can buy it online. Brick-and-mortar galleries will have all the different price points. So there's some that are, low end, and the artwork will be priced in the, $50 to $100 or up to a couple $100. And then there's another category of galleries that will start at the low hundreds for their price point and go up into the thousands and tens of thousands. And then there's another set of galleries that are kind of, if you think of it almost like clothing, where you can buy inexpensive clothing or super expensive clothing. It's kind of the same way with galleries. So then there'll be like these high-end galleries where the lowest artwork sells for thousands of dollars up to hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. So there is literally a price point for everyone, just like buying clothing. You can buy inexpensive clothing, you can buy designer clothing, all the way in all these different things. There's something for everyone. So that's what's so great about brick-and-mortar art galleries is you'll go to these galleries and you'll kind of have a feel for what their price point is and what the client's budget is and where your artwork is selling, what price point you're selling at. The goal is you start out at the lower priced galleries, and then as you raise your prices over the years, you might be able to get into more exclusive or more expensive art galleries over time. So how this works is you will decide, along with the gallery, you'll show them the pieces that you are interested in selling, and then you will have a consignment arrangement with them. Your artwork will be on loan with them until it's sold, and then when it's sold, you and the gallery will split the profit, and you'll have already in a contract with them an agreement about what that percentage will be. So a typical gallery will charge or will take a 50% of the sale, so you'll get 50% and they'll get 50%. So the pro is exclusive and beautiful presentation of your art online and in person at their brick-and-mortar location, and there's no effort required on your part once it's physically at the gallery. No effort is required from you. So the con is that it is very competitive to get into an art gallery, and once you're in, it's hard to stay in. So that's something to keep in mind. And then also the commission is going to be high, which again is typically 50% of the sale. Now, method number 4 of making money from your art and your art skills is working as a homeschool art instructor. Did you know that over 5% of American kids are homeschooled? And parents are willing to pay for their kids to get art education, art enrichment, and art instruction as part of the homeschooling process from kindergarten all the way up through high school. You can teach one-on-one with one family, or you can teach in a pod or a colony of kids who are a group of families, and they'll share homeschooling responsibilities with each other and homeschooling resources, and you'll really get to know these kids and their families, and that can be really neat. So you can set and negotiate your own prices and do this either as a full-time job, or you can do this as a part-time job, evenings, weekends, or if it works for you, during the day. So as a homeschool teacher, the pros are that you get to set your own schedule, and you can decide what price you're going to charge for your time and set your working hours and what it is that you want to teach. Now, an art degree is nice, but it's actually not necessary. And you will have complete freedom to help the kids explore their creative side with the tools, methods, and their finished projects. The cons are that you're going to need to make your own contracts and set your own curriculum. All right, ready for number 5? 5 is an artist-led art auction. in this method of earning art income, what you'll do is you'll create art and then you will sell it at an auction to the public. And if you are a prolific artist making tons of artwork and you're wondering, where am I going to store all this artwork, that kind of thing, this actually may be the perfect thing for you. So how this works is you or a group of artists, if you're going to work as a group of people, you will let people know how they can participate in this private art auction. And a lot of times people will use Facebook, and they will do like a Facebook auction. And what's kind of nice about that is a lot of people use Facebook. It's easy to get on and use and navigate. And then what's also nice is Facebook doesn't take any commission for the art auction. And you can drive up excitement through social media, and this way, especially if you have a large or a loyal social media following, this can be a great way to sell your artwork. So I've never tried doing this, but I have several artist friends who do this on a regular basis. So the pro is that you can set your own terms for the frequency of the auctions, and you're going to have complete control over the publicity. The con is that you are going to have to generate the marketing and the excitement for the sales, and then you'll have to deal with the payment and the shipping afterwards. So method number 6 that we'll talk about today is doing an art festival. So an art festival is where you put up a booth or you rent a booth and you sell directly to the public. This can be set up outdoors or they can be set up indoors, and they're usually for a short duration. And it's a way that the public will come in and can look and see your artwork along with many other artists, if it's a multi-artist event, and they can buy artwork directly from you. You can connect with the public and you can sell your art to them at this event. So there are juried and non-juried events, and the juried means a group decides who's going to be able to display their work, and it's more competitive. Art festivals are found locally and all across the country, and you can find them by typing in the term art festival online. And you typically are going to have to pay a booth fee and then pay for your lodging and your tent and your tables and your display materials. Any art that you sell at this event, you get to keep that money, which is super nice. You don't pay any commission to anyone other than the booth fees and the setup fee that you have to pay with the organization who hosts it. You'll get to keep all your proceeds, which is super nice. These type of sales are perfect for artists who enjoy interacting directly with the public and are also interested in doing some travel with their work. The pros are that you can make a lot of money if your work sells well, and the cons are sadly, you can lose money on booth fees if nothing or very little sells, which is a bummer if that happens. All right, number 7. Number 7 is farmers market and direct sales. So a farmers market uses the same model as an art festival, but it's much more laid back, usually lower price points, and it's less fancy. So unlike an art festival where it's all about the art and people are coming just to see art, a farmers market will include a lot more things that are for sale. And so it's going to also be more often. It's going to be like on a recurring basis, maybe every week, once a month, something like that. Maybe it might be in the summers or spring and fall, but it usually has a regular schedule. And you can sell your originals, and you can sell art merchandise like stickers and prints and t-shirts. And a farmer's market is a great way to get your feet wet if you're new to art sales. So you can find out how to participate in farmers markets by looking online or in your local newspaper, and there'll be ads for how to participate in the farmers market, or if you want to have a booth in the farmers market, how to participate. So one of the pros of doing farmers market is that you can actually be making your artwork while you're at the event, while you're at the farmers market. If there's a little bit of downtime or you want to be demonstrating to people how you work, you can be making artwork, and that's actually a way to attract people over to your booth. And it's a great way to build up friendships and relationships with other artists and with clients who are coming to, on a regular basis, coming to the farmers market. The cons are you're going to have to be there regularly and deal with weather issues if it is an outdoor setting. Now we're up to method number 8, and method number 8 is an artist in residence. So an artist in residence is an opportunity that you as an artist, you would apply for it. You are given an inspirational place to make art and talk about your art. Now, it's paid for by a benefactor, and that benefactor could be like a school, or it could be a private individual, or it could be a company. And you are given space to create. So the idea is that you are creating artwork during this residency period. And the place that you're going to create could be a cabin, could be a cruise ship, it could be a beautiful location, or it could be a city you've never been to. It could be in an agricultural setting, and you're going to be creating your artwork in front of others. So they're going to be able to learn about your art making process, and they're going to get to know a real working artist, which is really kind of neat. And sometimes you'll get a stipend of money during this residency, and other times just the location itself is going to be the thing and the promotion that the event will do for you. So they'll be promoting and they'll say, oh, so-and-so is going to be our artist in residence, and they'll do marketing and they'll do advertising about it, and they'll get people to come out to the venue and to see you. So they'll take care of that for you, and that's worth a lot as an artist, is getting eyes on your work. And the residency could be as short as, they're usually longer than a few days. Usually a residency is going to be a week, a couple months, maybe even a year long. Some art residencies require that you have an art degree or an advanced art degree, and some of them you don't have to have any art education at all. It's just based on your reputation. And what you can do is a search for art residencies. So get online and type in art residencies, and then you can put your location, your city or your state, or you can put in art residencies for locations that you're interested in going to. And then you can get a list of what all the requirements are and their rules and all about it, and then you can apply. And if you were selected, then yay, you will have an artist residency, and they're really actually wonderful to put on your resume. So a pro of artist residencies is that you are going to be able to make sales of your work during the residency, and you're going to get all of the focus. So you're not going to be essentially competing with other artists. This is really just all about you, and it's set up to put the focus on you. Now, the con is that you have to be, or the requirement for this is that you have to actually like being around people. So you're going to be creating art around people and talking about art and talking about your art. So if that's not something you like to do, then that would not be a good, artist residencies would not be a good option for you. Next is method 9, which is art licensing. So as the artist, you own a copyright. You automatically, without having to apply for one, you automatically own the copyright to any original works that you create. So you can make images, digital images of these pieces of the art that you make, and you can license or sell this to manufacturers who would like to make merch, and they just maybe have like for example, if they have a coffee mug and they'd like to put your artwork on it, they have a plain coffee mug, and then they would license your artwork to go on the mug. Or maybe it's shower curtains or pillows or jigsaw puzzles, or really that it's endless. Anything that can have an image put on it. There are manufacturers out there who are looking for artists and artwork to put onto their merchandise. Art licensing is something that I personally have been doing for the last 10 years in addition to selling my originals through art galleries. And art licensing is a fantastic way for an income stream as an artist. And what you'll do is you'll sign a contract with the manufacturer, and then you're going to get royalties for any of the sales that have been made. Yay! And a typical agreement might be anywhere from 5 to 15% of the retail price of the item sold is what the artist would get for their image. So in an example of a painting, let's say that the original is sold, but you took a high quality photo of the painting before you sold it. You own all the rights to that photo. You own the copyright for that. So you can essentially license that as many times as you want to whoever you want. And you can make lots of money selling images of that one painting that's already gone and gone off into the world. You can make money over and over and over on all kinds of different merchandise and different things and prints and all of that for years going on afterwards. Art licensing is where you take a digital image and you send that file to the manufacturer, or you can create physical work just for that manufacturer, and then you'll take a digital image of it and you'll send the digital file to the manufacturer. It's important that the file itself is of a large size and very high quality. So I have a special camera that I'm using when I take my digital photos. I have used my iPhone for doing some licensing work, but if you want to do anything that's a larger thing, like larger puzzles, posters, shower curtains, bedding, even some pillows, that type of thing, art prints, large art prints, they're going to want to have a larger file that's done with a special camera. But for smaller things, you absolutely can use, like just an iPhone, because it will, now the iPhones are good enough, you can get a high quality image with just your phone camera. You're going to sign a contract with the manufacturer and you're going to get royalties for the sales. Yay! I have an entire video on art licensing and how to get into it, the pros and cons, what all stuff you'll need for that and everything. So I encourage you to watch that later as well. So a lot of the methods that we're talking about today actually can kind of work in synergy together. So for example, if you make merchandise of your artwork, that's something that can sell at farmers markets. If you do art licensing, that helps build up your reputation when you're selling your originals at art galleries. So a lot of these things can kind of work in tandem. Some of them you don't want to do. For example, if you're selling in an art gallery, you don't want to be selling directly to the public because then the galleries will drop you. The pro of art licensing is it's a fantastic way to get brand recognition of your artwork, so that your originals will be able to sell for more money. And it's also a neat way so that people can get images of your work if they can't afford the original. Everybody can afford a print. Everybody could afford a pillow or a coffee mug or something like that. So it's a nice way to be able to get your artwork out there really at different price points. And the con is that finding manufacturing deals, it can be tricky and it can also be competitive. So now we're up to method 10, and that is selling on Amazon. And selling on Amazon is a little bit like selling on Etsy. It's also a great way to make money as an artist, and their search engine is fantastic. When you go to Amazon.com, you're going to find there are actually multiple ways that you can earn money as an artist. You could self-publish art tools like color wheels through Amazon Publishing, or create an ebook through Amazon Publishing. You can be directly involved and open a storefront, and you can sell like art merch and originals through your Amazon storefront, and then that would be where you would ship. So if you would have art merchandise, like things that you would make or prints that you would make yourself, you could have a storefront and then ship those directly to customers. Or you can do an arm's length. So instead of selling directly where you have to do the shipping, you can do what's called an arm's length transaction. This is like what I do is I'm an Amazon influencer on my Amazon page. If you go there, I'll put a link in the description. But basically what happens is I'll pick art supplies and art tools, art instruction books, things that I either personally use or I recommend, and those are out on my storefront. And then when someone buys something from there, then I get a very small commission. Does not change the price of the item that they buy, but I do get a small commission from Amazon when those things sell. So the pros are Amazon's reputation. Cons are if you're directly selling merchandise, your shipping and your inventory management could become issues. Now we're up to method 11. Method 11 is eBay. So eBay is similar to Etsy, but you have a little bit more flexibility. You can price your work as a buy it now, or you can price it as an auction. And so these are kind of the two different methods that you can set up. So you can also protect yourself by setting up a minimum price, so that if the auction doesn't achieve the price level, minimum price level that you would like, then the item just won't sell. Somebody can't just get it for nothing. Depending on where you live in the world, eBay might take 13%, or they might take a little bit more, a little bit less for every one of the sales that you make. How this works is you'll go to ebay.com and you'll set up a storefront, and then you'll load digital images of the item or items that you would like to sell, and you'll set your prices. You can make an excellent living selling your art on eBay. So the pros of selling on eBay are that you can make a good living selling your art on eBay. The negatives with it are that there's a lot of logistics associated with it. There's the shipping and then paying close attention to the sellers, vetting the sellers and that type of thing. But eBay may be something that you want to look into. Number 12 on our list is selling to friends and relatives and people that you know. So direct sales to people in your inner circle. And as artists, this is oftentimes the first way that all of us make an art sale. For me, this is how I made my first art sale. You'll sell to somebody that you know. And how this works is that you make your artwork and you let people around you know that the art is for sale. If there is something that you've made that you don't want to sell, be sure to kind of hide it away if someone who comes by and wants to get something. But how this works is somebody will admire your work, have in your mind ahead of time what kind of prices you're interested in charging, and then you'll make your exchange. And it is such a wonderful feeling when we make that first art sale. It is so validating. It's something that you never forget. I have a whole series of videos on how to price your work and art pricing strategies. So if you haven't watched those already, be sure to watch those as soon as you get an opportunity to, because they can make a big difference in your art career. That art pricing strategy is really key. Strategy number 12 is using Zazzle and Redbubble. These are places where the public can come and buy your merch. First, go to their site, and then you set up an account, and then you upload the images of things that you're interested in having merch made from. So that can be anything from, cards to posters to knickknacks or coffee mugs. All kinds of things can be made. And then what you'll do is you'll have those, and they'll have in your storefront, they'll have your name and the images that you are working with. And they will take a commission for every sale of every item that is made. So, for example, if coffee mugs or different items sell, the typical commission that they will take, depending on other factors, usually runs around 12%. The pros of working with something like Zazzle or Redbubble is they're professional sites, easy to use, easy to navigate, and it's easy to get your payment. The con with working with Zazzle and Redbubble is that there is an absolute ton of art competition out there. Other artists are all flocked onto that same site, and so to be seen, in the sea of other artists, some strategies that you can use would be to drive traffic from other things, like use your social media to direct people over to your site on Redbubble or your site over on Zazzle to make your sales. And that can be a way that you can kind of be seen in a sea of other artists. So method 14 is working with Saatchi or other online-only art galleries. We talked a little bit before about brick-and-mortar art galleries, but this is these online galleries do not have a store, so it's just online only. And the benefit of working with them is that you don't have to actually send your artwork. You keep your artwork where at your place, where your studio or your home or wherever you're working from. And then if something sells, then you go ahead and do the shipping, but it's all done essentially through the website of the online gallery. And there are no upfront fees, and like Saatchi, for example, takes a 40% commission on any sales that are made, and they have an excellent reputation. I have friends who have sold artwork through them, and we're very happy with it. They will pay for the shipping to get the artwork to the client. If the client doesn't want the painting or the piece of art for whatever reason, then you'll have to pay for the shipping to get it back to you. But it also depends on the online gallery, whether or not they'll pay for shipping, what kind of commission they're going to take, that type of thing. So you'll just have, it's just kind of an individual thing. You'll have to look on an individual basis. The pro of Saatchi is that they have a very excellent reputation. Cons are that there is so much competition with the large number of artists on their roster. Number 15 is teaching art in workshops or at universities. So whether you teach one neighbor or a friend how to make art, or maybe you're going to teach workshops or classes in-line or on person, or you're going to be an instructor at a school or a university, teaching art can be a great income source. Pros are sometimes teaching can get in the way of you making your own art, and you don't need an art degree to teach in some settings. And the cons are to teach at a school or a university, you will need an art degree. Method 16 is to sell your artwork on your own website. And so you can sell merchandise, prints, originals, art classes, really anything that you like. So I personally sell prints only through my website, and I let the galleries that represent me sell my originals. And your art website is a place where you're going to be able to list your curriculum vitae, your biography. You can show photos and images of your work, and really anything that you want people to know about you. And the pros, you're going to have complete control over the look of your website and what you sell and how you sell it. And there is no competition, there are no outside influences, because it's just for you. It's just all about your work and your inspiration, your motivations, that type of thing. The cons are website maintenance and upkeep, and there's going to be an annual cost to upkeep your website every year, and that's going to be typically $40 or more. Method 17 is art commissions. Art commissions are where a client tells you specifically what art they want you to make, and a purchase price is decided before you even start the work of art. You can create artwork by commission through an intermediary like I do. I take art commissions through the art galleries who represent my originals. So sometimes a client might like my style, but they want a certain set of colors, or they want a subject matter or something that is not currently at the gallery. So then what the gallery will do is contact me, and then we'll work together with that client and set up the parameters of how that commission would look and what the price would be. So if you're making a piece expressly for a certain client, that's called an art commission. You can do art commissions through your own website, or you can do art commissions through websites that specifically deal with art commissions. So digital art, anime, traditional art on paper or on canvas, calligraphy is something that's often done by commission, pet portrait, wedding, special occasion portrait. These are all great candidates for art commissions. But most importantly, really any kind of artwork can be created or made as a commission. The pro of doing art commissions is you already have a guaranteed sale before you even lift up a pen or the stylus or the pencil, whatever it is that you're making, the clay. You have already a guaranteed sale because you've already agreed on the price, and you'll have a contract or something in writing saying what it is that you're going to be making for the specific client. Now, the con of working on commissions, and I personally have experienced this, is it's stressful. It is stressful. I'll charge more for the commissions than I do my standard work, because I'm sitting there obsessing and worrying about if the client is going to like it. So that's something to keep in mind. If that's something that makes you nervous or you'd worry about, then commissions may or may not be for you. Method 18 is Patreon. Patreon is a site where your super fans, your mega fans, where people can go and get bonus content that they can't get from you on places like Instagram or YouTube or Facebook. They'll get in-depth, behind-the-scenes type of content that they wouldn't normally get, and so they'll pay a monthly fee for access to this content. So I did Patreon for about 1.5 years, and I found it was like sucking away all of my time. It was just not for me. It was taking away the time to make my originals. So, everybody has to make their own decision. I know some people who Patreon is their main source of income as an artist. So it really just depends on you as an individual, what works best for you. Pros are that it can be a great source of income, and it's a way for you to contact directly with your best and most loyal fans. And the cons are that it can be, as we talked about, extremely time-consuming. The other con is that Patreon has started adding free accounts instead of just only a paid account. There are free accounts, so you have to make content for that as well. So it is very time consuming, and there's a lot to do with Patreon. But you might want to consider giving it a try if that's something that might appeal for you. Way number 19 to make money as an artist is to hold art workshops and art making parties. You can make a living as an artist hosting art workshops or teaching art workshops or hosting art parties in a fun and relaxed atmosphere. And this is ideal for artists who enjoy meeting others, and if you want to show the fun side of art making. Participants may or may not have any art experience, but everyone is going to be making the same piece of art that's guided by you. You can become an artist at like a sip and stir type of group event, or you can do canvases, you could do face painting for parties, that type of thing. You can make sales by selling your work at this event, and you can sell art supplies or you can do both. So for doing art workshops and doing art parties, the key here is you're going to want to have an outgoing personality. So if you are a people person, this may be the route you want to go. You can set this up as an employee of a company that specializes in party art, or you can start your own company. And the pros are that you get a lot of interaction with non-artists, and it can be a lot of fun, and you can inspire others. And the cons are that there's a lot of interaction with non-artists, which may or may not be good. All right, we've made it to method 20. Method 20 is bartering. Did you know that you can trade your artwork if you need to have your roof fixed, or you have a hole in your wall, or you need to go to the dentist? Did you know that you can trade your artwork for that? And that's called bartering. And bartering is where no money changes hands. It's just the exchange of goods or services one for the other. So bartering is trading goods and services for one another without exchanging money. So examples of that might be you could go to your doctor, you maybe paint a mural or painting, for example, for your doctor's office, in exchange for them giving you medical services. You could do something, you could trade with an artist friend. You could trade one painting for a sculpture, or a painting for another painting, or a drawing for something. There's all kinds of things that you could do. You could trade for rent, artwork for rent, artwork for food. There's all kinds of ways that you can barter. The pro of bartering is that it's a win-win for both parties. Everybody gets something that they wanted. You get the work done that you needed, or some artwork that you were looking for, and they get your artwork, and then you're freed up to create more artwork. The cons are that you're going to need to make sure that you have all the details worked out ahead of time, and ideally get something in writing. So if you're going to be creating a mural, for example, for your doctor's office, get that all in writing, all the specifics, and then get in writing what is going to be bartered or what the exchange will be. Also, a con is tax implications. So you'll want to be sure to follow the rules in your city and state and country for bartering and how that impacts your taxes. Hooray! We made it all the way to the end, and I hope that this set of 20 things is inspiring for you and is going to help you live your best life as an artist and be successful. And I hope that you'll come back and see me again soon. And so until next time, it's Dena Tollefson, and all my best to you. Bye-bye.